I have to be careful what I say.
I remember we had the corporate communications sitting in with us. And so when you said your wife was across the table, that's reminded me of like she's going to give you the look if you say anything that you're not supposed to.
I think she might be worse than corporate communications. I just got this look, so like, yeah.
All standby passengers, see me at the podium for your seat assignment.
Non-Rev Lounge is a travel and aviation podcast. Monique, Lara, and Tyler are three friends that work for a major airline as gate agent, flight attendant, and ramp worker. During this podcast, they will discuss using their flight benefits to travel the world, as well as talk about things that happen at work. They have guests on almost every week to share their travels and stories, leaving tips on the best places to travel or things to do. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Non-Rev Lounge. I'm Lara.
I'm Monique.
And I'm Tyler. And we're excited to have one of our favorite guests back with us, Guillermo from Staff Traveler. Was it about a year ago that you met up with us here in Phoenix?
Yeah, I think it was about a year ago.
Maybe
at
even
least
sooner.
it wasn't too hot. I remember that. It wasn't like baking yet. So it must have been before the summer.
I think it was actually like February or early March, but yeah, sometime in there. So and just over a year. So how have you been?
Good. Busy. Not only with Staff Traveler, but just personal life. It's got a brand new baby girl who's now 6 months old, Eleanor. And yeah, that's just been, that takes up a lot of time, as you all know, with kids.
Have you gone out and traveled with her, or are you kind of staying at home?
No, we've not done as much traveling. I mean, with our son George, when he was, I think, 3 months old, that was the first time he was on a plane to Italy during COVID, actually. So I still have pictures of us wearing masks and him just sitting there as a 3-month-old with like, what's going on? But he really enjoyed that. He actually fell asleep during turbulence. So that's probably why he enjoys flying. Eleanor, we went skiing a little while ago. And well, in Europe, if you want to go skiing, it's from where we live, it's about 12 hours drive. So we thought that was a little bit much for a 6-month-old. So what we decided, my wife would fly full fare to Munich, and I would pick them up, and then we would drive on. And then on the way back, I'd drop them off at Salzburg, and then she would fly back via Frankfurt to. In the end, that was all full fare, but in the end, she actually ended up non-revving back. That was,
what happened?
We got to the airport early, and I'm driving back, and it's about an hour after I dropped her off, and she suddenly rings me. I was like, "Are you okay?" She said, yeah. I said, I was going through security, and then it hit me that my own airline has a flight in about 30 minutes, and it's direct, and it will get me home about 3 or 4 hours earlier. So yeah, and there was space, so I'm just going to non-rev on that. I'm like, you have a full fare ticket. Yeah, I'm going to be home 3 or 4 hours earlier.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. So she just grabbed Eleanor and just got on the plane and then non-revved back to, I think it was Rotterdam, and then the train back home.
I love that.
Yeah, it was a bit of last minute improvisation. So that's been it for non-revving with Elle. But in August we have some holiday coming up, so we'll non-rev somewhere. Don't know yet where.
But not to Morocco again. It was too hot.
It was too hot. Yeah, Morocco now is going to be hot as well. So we're just going to have to see. I'm flying the week before, so they might just join me on the trip, and then I'll fly back home and then fly back out again. We'll just have to see. That's the beauty of non-rev. You can just always just change plans and do things last minute. I mean, that's one of the reasons where we do it.
Yeah. Well, only if you have the Staff Traveler.
Sure. Well, yeah, that helps a lot. I remember. Do you remember the old days? I mean, even before you had like the e-ticketing, you just had that huge stack of tickets.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was before Monique's time, right?
Yeah,
Monique?
I don't remember that. I don't know how people did any kind of paper tickets. That sounds like a nightmare.
The paper tickets were brilliant.
Oh, really?
I mean, you could because they usually were from A to B. But if you didn't get on the flight, you would just go to the ticket desk, and then somebody would just take a little pencil and just cross
Write
out
what you wanted on
one place and just write what you wanted to go. And then it's like, yeah, we'll make it work. And now with all the e-ticketing, I mean, it's become a lot harder. I mean, I remember I was in Hawaii and trying to non-rev with Delta to Atlanta, and apparently that's not a good idea. This
Oh.
was before Staff Traveler. This is before we thought like, oh, you can always non-rev from Hawaii in summer. Can't be that busy.
There's so many
They,
flights.
yeah, there's so many flights. I remember the check-in guy was just like, well, at least your bag's going to get there. We just didn't get the joke. And then getting to the gate and you're walking around and you're like, oh, I see at least 50 non-revs. This is not a good idea. So yeah, we didn't get on that flight. And then trying with the e-tickets, then trying to roll you over. If you're flying Z, they can't roll you over onto another flight.
Huh.
You have
I
to
could-
take the listing out and then relist
Oh,
yourself on the next
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
The gate agents can't do anything for you. At least not with Delta there.
Usually I will. You can't change routing as long as you're going to the next same.
But can you do it for Zs or only for your own airline?
I've done it for Zeds. Our system lets us now whether I'm supposed to or not.
Okay.
But I know if you change locations, then it's a different price for them. Yeah, so they have to relist.
Okay.
But if they're just
Or if
Yeah,
it rolls to the
that-
next day, can you roll to the next day even? Or does the next day have to be a new?
no, I think so. I
listing.
think with us, as long as it's the same, like if you're going Phoenix Reno, as long as it's another Reno flight, I can roll them to that.
Okay.
I could then.
I'm thinking about this story and that this is, I mean, Staff Traveler is nearly 10 years old. So this must be at least 13, 14 years ago now already. But it feels like it was yesterday.
The trauma is real.
I remember
The trauma is real.
coming back from Geneva, and our airline doesn't fly to Geneva at all, and so I had to have Geneva to JFK. I had Geneva to Zurich because I had all the backup plans ready, and I couldn't just go to our counter and be like, "Okay, print me another one." But then when I got home, I had to mail the stack of them in to get refunded, and so that was a hassle. So that's one thing that I like now is you just go hit refund, and it just your money's all back in your card within a couple of days.
Well, yeah, that's mostly with the US carriers. The US carriers are really good at that. They refund really quickly, but I know some carriers around the world. I mean, we get questions about it. It's weird as Staff Traveler, we get questions regarding my ID travel or people with their tickets on a daily basis. I was literally just answering somebody who says like, yeah, I refunded this ticket. Why isn't my money in my account? I don't know. Not a clue. No, we really get a lot of people, and there are some airlines. It can take literally months before you're refunded.
oh wow, yeah.
So
I think
most
most of ours are booked through our airline. It's what it pays like I know Southwest, we pay Southwest, but most of them are our airline, and then they do all the work. And so when you refund, I think they get it back pretty quick. Does that make sense? There's some that
no, that's
charges. So
yeah, that's the same. Our airline has with a couple of carriers. They have their own ticket source, so you have the first three digits on your e-tickets. But with a lot of them that go through my ID, they have their own ticket sources, and you get refunded, but it sometimes just takes a long time. I think with Air Canada once I waited 4 months
Jeez.
just to get a refund. But
Hey, Guillermo,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I wanted to tell you that I went to Charlotte's Aviation Day, and there was a young man there, and he, you know how everybody wears their airline ID around their neck, and he was using the Staff Traveler lanyard that he got from our meetup in Dallas 2 years ago. He's still
Oh
wearing
wow,
it.
cool.
Yeah,
Oh, I
took
love
a picture
that.
of it. Yeah, I knew you'd
you
love
need
that.
to send me that one. I really would like to
I
see
will.
that. That is really cool. Yeah, the funny thing, you run into them once in a while, even the ones that we send out to different people, and you're suddenly like, hey, where'd you get that? You're like, I got it from Staff Traveler. Oh, cool. And then just don't say anything.
I know those guys.
Yeah, vaguely heard of them.
I told you about I have a coworker that flew with you a couple of years ago, and I said, yeah, we're sponsored by Staff Traveler. I know the guys, and he was like, yeah, I met you, and he was flying WestJet in Canada, and I'm like, that's not you. And he was like a redhead guy, and I was like, yeah, you do know him, like, but you happen to do like a day trip to Canada or something, and so
It was literally a 24-hour trip to Canada for my cousin's wedding in Victoria. And literally, because we couldn't get the direct flight to Vancouver, we flew Amsterdam, Heathrow, Calgary, Victoria, and
Wow.
then on a seaplane from Victoria back to Vancouver, and then Vancouver, Paris, Amsterdam, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's
Did they
Wow.
have an open bar? Like, was this wedding worth it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a Scottish wedding. They're both Scottish, so it was an open bar. Yeah, it was
Okay.
it was a good night.
Worth it.
Absolutely worth it. Really, really worth it. It's just you need like a week to recover after that.
So we wanted to have you on because you're doing some changes with Staff Traveler. You're updating some stuff. You got a new. So tell us about
Oh,
that. How did that come about, and what are we looking forward to?
so well, Tyler, you've already seen the beta version. That's
Yeah.
the new Staff Traveler. Well, it's not new. It's I'll roll back a little bit. Think about for the people who know Staff Traveler. Currently, what you see in the app is version 2, which has now been with us for I think since 2018. That was this design was made in 2018, and somebody's there in the
One second.
background.
I thought it was over at your house,
No.
Guillermo.
I'm recording. I can't help it.
I think I heard
No, mine are
Christopher's
fast
voice.
asleep. It's 9:30 in the evening here.
Oh, yeah, yours are asleep.
Yeah, the current design was introduced in 2018 after version 1, and we basically stuck with that. And it's just been adding stuff over the last years, little functionalities here, little tweaks there, a few visual effects. But remember from the last time we spoke, we were really customer feedback or member feedback orientated. That means everybody who gives us feedback, we take it seriously and we want to improve. And that list just kept longer and longer and longer and longer. And at one point, we were just looking at each other, like, all these changes, that's just impossible with the current design. I think about 2 years ago, the decision was made like, okay, we need a complete overhaul. Just going to start from scratch for the whole app, at least. And that's where we started. So the team's grown as well, more designer, more programmers. And yeah, been working on version 3 for about a year now, I think a year and a half. And it's now finally got to a place of recording now. We're beta testing. Tyler has one of the betas at the moment.
Kelsey, our friend Kelsey,
Kelsey
and
Kelsey has
Columbus.
it as well. Yeah. And we did a lot of internal testing, and now it's going live to select number of users just to see if we missed things. We have.
Well, that's why you did it.
That's why we do it. Every day there's a new version coming out, and it can be little things like this doesn't make sense in the interface, or hey, I'm selecting this and something else is popping up. There's just lots of stuff, and this new version really gives us a foundation to add a whole bunch of new features in the next year. So it's a foundation layer, but there's also actually a few really cool new features that are coming. It's I think that there's a few small ones, as things like grouping of the connecting flights and things like that in the comment section. Now all the updates will show it as a conversation. But really one of the big ones that people have been requesting a lot for us was it's something we're going to call priority requests. And what it's going to be is that everybody every month will get 2 priority requests. And these priority requests, you only get 2. We don't reload them. Can't buy extra. 2's all you get. And with the 2, you can upgrade a request to a priority request, and it will come at the top of the list. So if you really need that now, you can get it to the top of the list, but only twice a month. That's it.
Okay.
So a lot of people have been asking us, like, can I get to the top of the list? Can I pay you extra? Like, no, but we'll think of something. And this is the first version of it. So it's going to be interesting to see how people react to it.
I think that's terrific. That's kind of like a vacation pass at our airline.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be fun to see how it turns out.
And then if I answer a priority pass, a priority list, do I get? I think I saw you get 2 credits instead of
You
1.
get exactly. You get
2
2 credits.
coins.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the priority request, but besides the priority request will cost you 2 credits as well. So it's going to be, you're going to have to pay a little bit extra for them. But for the responders, of course, I know there's people going to be fighting, responding to
Yeah.
laws like, hey, I want these priority requests because they're going to give me double the amount of credits.
Absolutely.
Let's see. And there's a whole bunch of, like, visually, it's overhauled. It looks fresh. It's new. We know there's going to be some people who are not going to like it. You're always going to have that because change is weird. I mean, we've had this design since 2018, so everybody's used to it. So it's going to take some getting used to, but I think it's a great improvement.
It's exciting.
I think kind of like we get so many for us, every airline is different. We get so many vacation passes, like Lara said. And so at the end of the year, everyone has vacation passes. You think the end of the month is going to be all priority listings because like you got to use them or lose them, right? Because they're not going to roll over.
No rolling over. It's 2
Okay.
at the end, 2, and at the end of the month you get, well, it goes up to 2 again.
Okay.
But it's going to be good for people if you're in a pinch and you need to get somewhere, and hey, you have an airline which responds slowly, and you need that response just to make that good decision. Then this will help you.
Okay.
And that's what they're there for. They're more of a sort of an emergency, get you at the top of the list, and it'll be cool as well for people responding. So even more credits can be earned.
And since Lara doesn't non-rev, I can write her and be like, hey, Lara, request this for me. Use your priority.
I do non-rev, and I'm going to Portugal at the end of June.
Where
You are?
Portugal?
Yeah, we're going to Amalfi Coast.
We are.
Because
I'm
Amalfi's in
flying in.
Italy.
Yeah, but we're doing both. I'm sorry, both.
Ah,
I'm doing
okay.
both. Yeah, but
Is this another group one?
No, I'm going with my cousins.
Fun.
I have twin cousins, and I like to travel with them. They're fun.
Are
Does
you
everyone
non-revving
freeze?
or are you doing miles?
Yeah, no, I'm not revving because I'm going by myself. So I'll
Good for
just.
you.
I did freeze. I'm just
Yeah.
processing that it's another trip I wasn't invited on. So
I know that's
I'm
been
so
hard for
sorry.
us to take. Thanks for dropping us right now on us in the middle of recording. Oh, by the way, I'm going to Europe without you.
we're fine.
I'll
We're fine.
Whenever
Send you
we're
a
like, we should do a
postcard.
trip together, Lara's like, I've already been there. I don't want to go with you.
Yeah, we wanted to do day trip, and he wants to go to the Holocaust Museum. I'm like, oh yeah, that's uplifting.
It's not uplifting, but it is impressive. I mean, Tyler, you went there. When was that?
I went to
2 years
Auschwitz,
ago?
but I haven't been to DC yet. I just want to go to DC, and Lara's like, not interested. I'm not flying through the night with you to do a day trip to DC.
It's not a day trip.
Is it a day trip?
5 hours each way is not a day trip.
You red eye there, so you get there in the morning, you spend the day, and fly back that afternoon.
Sounds like a plan.
Guillermo,
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I haven't done 5 hours. I've done like non-revving, waking up in the morning with my wife. This before we had kids. Like, hey, we want to go to Disneyland. Well, the one in Paris at least. So then just go to Schiphol Airport and then non-rev to Paris, go to Disneyland, and then non-rev back again.
all right, you can't beat that.
That was fun. Maybe Tyler can take you on a day trip to Disneyland.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler.
He's not going to do that.
I was gonna say, here's the secret: Tyler doesn't like Disney.
He doesn't.
Well, the nice thing with
That
Lara
guy.
and her walker, we could get to the front of the lines, right?
Oh,
It's not funny.
oh, you are really.
Guillermo,
Since you're on a roll, why don't you ask Guillermo about that?
when is your update? When is the update? What can people expect? I know I get the beta one, but do you have a date or a hopeful date to be released?
Yeah, actually, it is probably going to be around when this airs, the 29th.
Okay.
Okay, so as this comes out,
Up,
you probably
up,
can
up.
get on and
Probably, yeah. It'll be the day that this comes out, the day after. It'll be barring we don't run into any show-stopping bug that crashed the whole system.
I just knocked
And
on
you'll
wood.
put out I'm sure social media, and we can share that on our social media so people can
Yeah.
see that.
There's loads of stuff coming, and there'll be a few surprises and there might be some giveaways and
Oh,
prizes to
Awesome.
win.
wow.
But
Oh, I
you're
love
just gonna have to.
giveaways.
Laura just likes free stuff.
I'm a flight attendant.
Exactly.
Tiny shampoos. Woohoo!
Yeah, exactly. I was just gonna ask, do you take all the shampoos from the hotel?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you take the
we
batteries out
now
of the
do-
remotes?
No,
I don't.
You don't touch the
That's-
remotes
Oh,
ever.
you don't touch them.
I don't either.
That's what
I
the
just
ice bags are for.
I just saw them on a video. People were taking like light bulbs and the batteries, and I was like, oh my gosh.
But you can always the urban myth was always it's like the way you also can save on washing when you get home. You can just always wash your underwear just in the tea kettle.
Laura loves tea, so that's why.
Oh God.
Well, we're excited for the updated version. I've enjoyed it. I wish I got it just after my big trip when I was using Sapphire a lot, so I haven't had to use it too much, but I've been playing with it, and I'm excited for the priority ones, especially those ones. We've all had those airlines that just don't answer real quick, and so and I'm sure they get a lot.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I think this will also incentivize people to answer a bit quicker as well because they
Yeah.
know there's priority requests there and they'll be at the top of the list. So it'll be a welcome improvement. But this is only the beginning. This really is. This year I can't share them yet, but there's a whole bunch of updates and new features coming this year. This year is going to be some massive changes going on and some really cool new features that are coming. And it's exciting, not only with Staff Traveler, but also eSIM, which is surprisingly doing well. I mean, we don't
Surprisingly?
actually, well, surprisingly for us, because we didn't really promo it that much. The whole eSIM thing has been a sort of a side project for me personally, because I just got annoyed that I didn't have data everywhere. And it sort of went viral in a couple of airlines. So there's about 40,000 people using it now,
Oh wow.
Excellent.
something like that. And it's just growing rapidly. And I don't know how technical everybody is, but they're running through about 20 terabytes of data a month. That's a lot of Instagram.
Oh yeah.
But every so often
Yeah.
we get people that'll reach out and be like, "What's the code again?" And I'm always thinking it's at the bottom of all of our show notes. But yeah, but people are still, how do I get it? That especially ones that have tried it and they're like, "We used it; it was great. We need it again." So yeah, just get on and do that. So
Well, it helps people. I mean, Laura, I don't know how much you use it still with. Well, you still have but you have a lot of domestic as well, right? Or
I do.
you fly?
Yeah. I just
Yeah.
now am going back to London. It's a great thing. When I was at a recurrent training last week, I had the eSIM cards. So I was passing those out to all the trainees. I'm like, it's good for a year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
You could turn
But
it off and
Laura-
on.
Laura, do you have like a second family in London? I mean, every time I just see like an Instagram post from you, well, it's always your beautiful view from the hotel.
The only beautiful view I've ever seen out of that hotel was when our captain was retiring and they gave him the Jimi Hendrix suite. So I ran up there and took a picture outside of his window.
Now, that was my second question. What were you doing in the captain's bedroom?
It was his final trip. She had to make it good.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you heard a couple weeks ago, we had a little debate on here, and I think we've talked off the recording, and so I want a pilot's perspective, especially you being a international pilot, about if you forgot your passport and you were headed. Did you guys fly to China? Does your airline fly
Yes,
there?
we
You guys
do.
do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so if you were doing that and you realized, would you go back and get your passport, or would you keep your mouth shut like Lara would want and continue on to finish the trip?
Yeah, Laura already asked me this one as well. Yeah, and I think she still loves me, even though I don't agree with her. No,
You
it's
did not
been-
agree, but
No,
Tell them why.
The thing is, well, I think the first thing is like I saw this story as well, and the thing you always need to remember, we weren't there. I mean, I know Laura can tell a host of stories that you can hear secondhand, and then you're like, yeah, but if you were actually there, it was quite different, and there were a few other circumstances. So yeah, I don't know everything about the story, what happened, But yeah, I would, well, not so necessarily turn back, but I would call the company. I
Yeah.
mean, the company itself usually, I don't know how it is with you guys, but we have like a corporate security who have all the connections with all the embassies and security services around the world. And I mean, it could be that they have a good understanding with the local authorities and they can just send a copy onwards because I think, I don't know with you guys, but they have all our passports on file anyways. And they could send a copy and then it will be fine. But it could be that it also that you're overflying countries where your airline doesn't fly. And what happens if you need to divert, if you need to land there
Oh,
and you don't have a passport and you don't have a good story? On top of that, it's probably in your operations manual as well that you need a passport. So there's probably quite a few reasons why you would want to inform the company and let them have a say in this. It makes sense. I mean, with you guys flying to China from the West Coast, I mean, it's just ocean you're passing, maybe a bit of Japan as well. But for us, yeah, we go over a whole bunch of places. You don't want to go on holiday, and don't think you don't want to land there without a passport. So I think the company would probably say as well, like, yeah, probably best to head back. But we don't know. I don't know what happened there. Where he lost his passport, was it still in the briefing room, or did he leave it at home, or did he
Well,
give it to
according
somebody
to Lara,
else?
like you said, Lara makes up stories. He left it at home so he wouldn't have to do the trip. He could just head home and be
I
done.
didn't
So
say that.
But
I think
but
that,
how
you
does
know,
he report? Do you guys have to, without us, we have to swipe our passport to report for duty at our main base?
Well, our gate agents are tasked with yet another thing they have to do. They have to visually see the flight attendants' passports, but they don't have to see the pilot.
That's weird.
Isn't that weird? But you also brought up another good point. What if they landed in China and China took possession of the aircraft? That
Yeah.
was a good point.
Yeah, there could be a lot of different things that could go wrong. I mean, let's say geopolitically at the moment, things are sort of unstable also between certain countries. So you don't know what's gonna play out. And it's probably best to it's like one of the game shows. It's better to call in a helpline, which is the company, and ask for some expert advice because there's probably some people there who know a lot more about this than. Well, I know as pilots we know everything, but even sometimes there's people who know more.
That's funny.
well,
Not a
in worst
lot.
case, it's on them. They made that decision. So if it was the wrong one, I mean, you made
Ye-
the mistake of forgetting it, but if they want to go back, it's their decision to go back. So
Yeah, I mean, it could be that. I mean, and ultimately, it's still captain's decision what's going to happen, but because he's in charge of the aircraft. But for the company, at least, I think they would like to have a little say in this. And probably the chief pilot wants to have tea and biscuits with that pilot without the tea and
Oh.
biscuits.
I'm sure.
Yeah, there was at our company, there used to be a reporting code called MC 1000 that you could get on your roster, and it basically translates from Dutch to English from report to chief pilot at 10 o'clock in the morning. That's the for tea and biscuits without the biscuits. Yeah, you don't ever want to have that on your roster.
it's like going to the
No.
principal's office.
Exactly, it's that one. But yeah, I mean, it's a horrible situation I think to be in. I mean, for those,
Well,
for,
and that wasn't our airline, but I bet there's a policy change at that airline.
probably as well. I mean, as I was saying with our airline, when you report at our crew center, the way you check into the system, you have to swipe your passport. Otherwise, you can't report. And it does ask you a bunch of questions like, hey, is your visa for the US still active? And do you have your vaccinations? And things like, hey, you're going to a malaria area. Do you have your malaria tablets? Things like that. I think that's also the company can say, like, hey, we asked, no, our fault.
Yeah. And so
But it's,
Tyler has yet another hot topic he wants
well,
to
we were
discuss.
debating things. Yeah, I want to know. So I was staying in a hotel the other night. It wasn't overly nice, just a basic low point place. And they had left a card by the TV. If you want to tip your housekeeper, you could do it instead of leaving cash. You could do it, I don't know, Venmo or something. So do you guys tip your housekeepers?
I do, especially in the States. This is always an interesting one. I mean, in Europe, especially the Netherlands, like tipping is not, you don't tip because you have to, you tip because you want to. If you think somebody's really done an exceptional job and they've really given you everything above and beyond, yeah, of course you'll tip them. But there's no thing, for example, when I was in Vegas last week. I went to Starbucks and just ordered a coffee. And then when you just want to tap with your credit card, it says, hey, do you want to tip? What is it? 15%, 13%, 20%? I'm like, I'm at Starbucks. I'm getting a coffee. Why do I need to tip these people? But I understand from the US perspective. I mean, people get paid quite low salaries and it makes up part of their salaries. So that's the reason why it's there. But coming back to your original question, yeah, housekeeping actually quite often, because if I'm in country where I have cash money, local currency, and I can't really use it anymore, I'm not going to cart it around. So I usually just leave it for the housekeeping.
That's a good idea.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good.
I have a girlfriend and her mom was one of those housekeepers in a hotel. So she always used to leave $1. And then when we got our big pay raise, we started leaving $2. So I do leave a couple dollars. Give them a soda or something,
We have a tradition within our company that is everybody, it's not followed as much anymore as it used to be, but basically everybody, doesn't matter where in the world you are, which is sometimes a bit weird, but everybody tips the driver of the crew bus that's picking us up $1.
And therein lies the rub. Because when we go to London, when we're on our way back to the airport, our poor driver, there's 9 flight attendants, 3 pilots. So there's 12 people. He takes our luggage off and on the bus twice as we go through security and all this. And so flight attendants tip $2, and the pilots who have a different pay scale tip $1.
Why is that?
Fight. Why is that? And I'm not going to tell you the year I started flying as a flight attendant, but Monique was not alive.
True.
And they told us you tip the van driver $1, and we see that all the time. It's still $1. So a lot of flight attendants have upgraded, and we do $2. Big whoop, but we do $2. Tyler, what say you?
So I have a question, then we'll go back to that. So if you were to gate check something, right? If you had a stroller for a baby in your family, or you have too many bags and you have to take it down below, when the ramper brings it back to you, how much do you tip them?
Did you hear what Guillermo said? It's a lower paying job, and so the tipping subsidizes the job.
But whose fault is that? I mean, that's their job, right? That's their job to drive the shuttle. It's my job to bring the bags up. And are you sure that mine's a lower payment? I mean, I know mine is, but if I work for Swissport, it's not.
Hey, why don't I get $1 from every passenger when they've done a really good landing?
You just get
Why
clapped.
don't I get $1 when I pass them a soda?
No clapping. No. Anybody who claps, no clapping on my aircraft. It's
Unless you land in South America, don't they clap there?
They do clap there.
But so I understand if I grab something off of a shuttle, if I walking off and I grab my bag and leave, then I don't tip because he was just driving. But sometimes they're like, I'm doing it for you, and then they expect a tip, and I don't like that. I'm cheap, but I can do it myself. But you're letting him put the bags on and off. So you want to tip, that's...
Our friend from British Airways actually allocates money for the van tipping and gives it to the purser. So there's no choice. I mean, British Airways tips all their vans.
It's coming from the company, so that's different. They're tipping, but it's coming from the company because they're giving them a stack of whatever.
Apparently, British Airways thinks it's important to give the van drivers a tip.
okay. Yeah, we have that with some of our US destinations where we quite often with our company we get at our hotels we get breakfast as well. It's included.
Fancy.
And I know in Vegas, the company also pays the tips for the staff. It's included. So yeah, they do it there as well. But it comes back always to the basic questions. Why are we tipping to start off with? I mean, it's great if you tip somebody that does an excellent job and goes above and beyond and does way more than we would ever expect from them. But I mean, if you're still tipping people because you know that their salary is too low, then there's inherently something wrong there. At least that's my personal opinion about that.
If an Uber driver gets you to the airport 10 minutes quicker than probably should have, because he did whatever he did, and now you're going to make your flight, tip that person because he just saved you making your flight. Right?
Well, or he nearly killed you. I sidetracking to another story here. Years ago, I was with my wife in Cambodia, and we took this little van from, I think it was some town on the coast to the main capital, Phnom Penh. I think it was $8 per person. And we laughed when we got off, we sort of laughed or cried, I'm not sure, because it was, we calculated that every dollar was a near-death experience.
Jeez.
It's just going into opposite traffic. It's like, oh, there's a sidewalk. I can use that as a road. That's not a problem. Oh, bicycles, they're smaller than me. They'll get out of the way. So yeah. I'm not sure about the Uber driver though.
I was just thinking, just like they want a tip too, but the minimum is just like my car doesn't stink and I didn't swear at you. I mean, you arrived safely, but I mean, shouldn't everyone arrive safely? Isn't that part of the job? I don't know. It just the tipping, and like it's different from in the States and here and in Asia. And I do my best when I leave a hotel room to leave it as clean. I mean, I don't clean it, but I make sure all the garbage is I don't leave garbage everywhere and all the towels are together, so they're not like having to clean up after a frat party. I try to be respectful. I knowing someone is going to be in there doing their job, but if they're coming in, I get in the middle of the week and my kids, they got stuff everywhere, and then I can see a tip because it's a little more work to get around. But
you don't leave your room tidy?
No, I do. That's what I'm saying. I do. I make sure that.
I mean, my wife is the worst. I mean, I remember we went to Menorca. She's just now looking at me like, what story are you going to tell? We went to Menorca a few years ago and we had this Airbnb. It was lovely. It was really nice. And I think when we left it, it was cleaner than when we got there. My wife literally in the morning was like with soap polishing the floors and making sure everything was tidy. And then the owner turns up with his cleaning crew and just looks around and is like, what happened? Why is it all so clean? And my wife's like, yeah, but we used your house. And I'm just looking, I was like, I paid for using his house. I even paid the cleaning fee.
Yeah.
But no, she cannot stand that leaving somewhere where it's not tidy.
That's our mom too.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to show the house at the moment.
Yeah, that is our mom. We're like, Mom, you paid a $250 cleaning fee. Like, I mean, you don't leave it in trash, but you don't have to go above and beyond because you're paying them to clean it. So
She'll be in the bathroom spraying it down, and you're like, okay, that's a bit much.
I have a question then for Laura and Monique. I would love to know this, your opinion. When you have people coming, like guests are coming to your house, do you extra clean up your house?
Oh yeah.
I straighten extra. I straighten things so it looks nicer. But I won't wash my floors because I have learned that I wash my floors before and I'm going to have to wash them after. So I don't wash them before. I spot clean, but I won't wash them.
My wife's looking at me triumphantly, saying, look, I'm not crazy.
your house is always clean, Lara, though.
Thank you.
So
Well, Laura has a margarita machine. Do you still have that?
I have 2 now.
You have 2 and do you still have that Mexican draft beer as well?
And we still have the kegerator. Yes, that was delicious.
Laura's house is the best.
She lives in a cantina.
Well, we had the big margarita machine that's like in the restaurant quality. And then my husband was like, oh, well, we need a smaller one too and I'm like, he pulled a smaller one out the other night. We had sangria margaritas.
Ooh.
So quick, I want to ask you, Guillermo, because my wife has a girls' trip in August to Amsterdam and Paris. But I know when I asked you before, you said your tip for Amsterdam is don't come to Amsterdam. I don't know if it's just you hate tourists or it's just like me. Whenever someone asks me, we're coming to Phoenix, I'm like, let's go to San Diego. Let's go somewhere else. Like you can come here, but it's boring here. But she's planning on going. We were already looking staff travel for hotels for her friends. We're going to non-rev her there because it's August, but then I use miles to get her home because after that time when I flew back through Amsterdam in August, when I did Auschwitz and it was 50 people on the list and 5, I was like, we're not doing that. We'll use miles to get home. And maybe this summer will be different with all the economic stuff at the States and traveling. But as of right now, I got that booked for her. But what would you suggest people going to Amsterdam do, or any tips for booking things earlier? Real quick, just a few things.
Yeah, not go to Amsterdam. No. No, it really depends what you want to do. I mean, that's like with so many places in the world. I mean, you want to do cultural? Do you want to go clubbing? Do you want to go shopping? It really depends. If you want to do the cultural stuff like Anne Frank House, Van Gogh Museum, Rijksmuseum, those are really cool to do. But book in advance. Get your tickets, beat the crowds, don't stand in line. It just saves you a lot of time and a lot of hassle. Use public transport in Amsterdam. Don't use Ubers, especially in the center. You don't need it. It's just going to take longer as well. Just get a travel card, use the trams, use the metro, use the buses. It'll get you faster and cheaper to where you need to go. And if you have the time and you've exhausted Amsterdam a little bit, or Amsterdam has exhausted you a little bit because there is just so many tourists there. Have a look at some of the other cities. Utrecht, where I went to university, the lovely town. Delft, Leiden, The Hague. You can get on a train. The thing is in Holland is you can get on a train and you'll be in the next major city in 30 minutes. That's it. So yeah, there's you don't have to get stuck in Amsterdam. You can go anywhere. So that would be my advice. Look a little bit broader. And there's so many cool things to see within really short traveling distance. But if she wants to stay in Amsterdam and do the cultural things, book ahead. You want to go clubbing? Yeah, some good clubs there. Yeah, and also sometimes do all the touristy things. Do the red light district. Do things like that. I mean, it's just one of those things you have to see. You should see, hey, done there, been there, got the T-shirt.
Momo and I had a lot of fun going in the red light district. We were standing there like just in awestruck, looking around. And this girl that was in the window was like, yeah, move ahead. Don't just stand there, just keep walking. And we're like, what are we doing wrong? Remember that, Mo?
Yeah, well, I was laughing at, we couldn't find it. So it's just these like three kind of like middle-aged women going around and being like, where are the naked ladies? Like, we just want to see the naked ladies. And everyone was like, but we did find it. Yeah.
And stroop waffles. We found those.
Stroopwafels as well. But also, I mean, I mean, if you're a foodie, there's so many good restaurants in Amsterdam. There really are. There is a really good tip. Tyler, I know, is your wife going during the week or on a weekend?
It'll be like 4 days. I think it's over a weekend into the next week. So I think it's a weekend and like a Sunday, Monday, I think. So.
Okay, well then I'll give her a tip. A brilliant restaurant she has to go to. It's called Rijssel, Rijssel, and it's the concept is brilliant. The chef who runs it. This is the urban legend. I'm not entirely sure if it's true, but apparently he used to have a Michelin star, really high end restaurant. He got fed up with it. He got fed up with all the drama and all the things he had to do, and he just couldn't stand it anymore. So he bought this old school building and turned one of the classrooms into a restaurant. You have the whole kitchen is open. It's on one side. You sit in these little old school benches, and they have, I think, 2 starters, 3 main courses, 2 desserts, and a wine list, which is a book is about this thick, is impressive. And they're only open Monday through Friday. He's like, yeah, I have my weekends off. I'm not going to open. But if she wants to go there, she has to book well in advance because it's always full.
Okay.
But it's and my wife says, like, let me know because I'm going to go as well. So yeah, that's a really good one. If you love food, it's great.
Well, why is The Hague called The Hague?
Well, actually, in Dutch it's called Den Haag. So I think it's just the English translation of it. Oh, I actually would have no idea originally why it was called that, but there's probably some historical reason for it. But The Hague is nice. It has some history. It's see the government is there. It's quite. It has you have the beach, which is always nice. Except Dutch summer lasts about 2 weeks.
That's why I remember the few days we were there right after COVID, and the food was always really good. Got the fresh stroopwafels on the street, and we went to a place, was a Dinkel? It was an apple pie place, or that's what they specialized in, and it was amazing. So maybe I'm wrong on the name of it.
It doesn't ring a bell, but there's so many good places there as well in Amsterdam and Utrecht and The Hague and Rotterdam, Leiden. There's just loads of them. For us, it's just the concept of distance for us is different. For you guys, I mean, Laura, you don't live that far from Sky Harbor. It's about, what is it, 35 minutes, something like that?
20. It's only 20.
20, yeah. Okay. So, but you live really close to your base. I mean, ridiculously close to the US. And driving anywhere in Phoenix usually takes you, what, an hour, 2 hours? You're going to Scottsdale or
About an hour.
Could take 40.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, with us, drive 2 hours from where we live, you're in the sea or in another country. It's one of the two. So it's, I mean, my wife's parents, they live really the other side of Holland. And we think that's like the end of the world. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's way too far.
Tucson is about a little over 2 hours, depending to Sky Harbor. And I know flight attendants that drive from Tucson to, to report to work.
Just commute, aren't there flights from Tucson to Phoenix?
Yes.
They're on RJs and they're kind of full. So just drive.
There's rampers that will commute that too. They'll come up and work a couple of days, and they have like a family member, and then go back. So, or they'll work just like 16-hour days, another 16-hour days, and then be done for the week. So
16-hour days, is that legal?
yeah, I can do that.
No, well,
Yeah,
for us, you can do
we
it back to
do-
back, but you can't do a third day.
Yeah, so you could do 2 16-hour days. So
Wow.
I've done that before. It's tough in the summer, but when it's not, like it's nice weather, especially when you have some seniority, it's a lot of downtime. So it's almost more mental at that point than it is actual physical. You're just so mentally exhausted. And I know
but I just I'm last week in Vegas. I mean, it wasn't even summer yet. It was like international numbers. It was 36 degrees Celsius, which I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. It felt warm, quite warm.
It definitely
And I was
could be
talking
over 100 degrees at this time of year. So yeah, it could be.
Yeah, but it was when 36. It wasn't. I thought it was quite warm. I was talking to one of the rampers, and he was like, "Nah, it's all right. It can get a lot warmer here." I'm like, "Okay."
Was that when you were doing your
That's,
walk around?
We don't do a walk around on our stations or even at home base. We just have engineers that do that. And I got a really nasty look from my wife. Just exactly that look, Laura. I just got that one from across the table. It's like, "Ooh, you don't do walk around. You fly long haul." I know.
When you did school, because you train here in Arizona, you're here for the summer, right?
No, actually luckily I wasn't. I arrived in
Oh.
November and I left in April.
Ooh.
So I had the good
perfect.
years. I had the good months for flying, and we flew out a good year. So that was fun. But yeah, I remember talking to your son, Laura. It was just like, because he's still a flight instructor, or is he nearly done?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's got his hours now, but nobody tiring.
Oh shit. Yeah. Yeah. I have a deep respect for the flight instructors in the Phoenix area, because there are some dodgy flight schools there with some
right.
international students, and you're like, and they'll do position reports, and they'll be saying like, "Oh, I'm over this and this area," and you're like, "I'm over that and that area, but I don't have any clue where you are. I'm just looking around, just trying to not get a mid-air collision." So yeah, it can be dodgy up there, but fun.
Yeah, it's pretty much a good weather. We always have good weather.
Yeah, well, that's why all the schools are down there. I mean, all the European schools are down there. Everybody's, I think, in Phoenix now, at least, or most of them still are. One of the like 10 airports.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I flew to Mexico City and back, and when we came into Mexico City, there were really big winds, and we were on a 737, and it was the FO's landing, poor guy, and we came in, boom, and everybody went, and I'm sitting in the jump seat just smiling at him like, and so then they left the flight deck door closed during deplaning. And then I knocked. I said, "You can come out now." And he goes, "That was not my finest landing." And I said, "I think you should do the next one back into Phoenix to redeem yourself." And the captain goes, "I think that's a great idea. You do the next landing too." And he's like, so when he left, when we landed in Phoenix, it was beautiful. It was a perfect landing. It was just absolutely wonderful. And of course I opened the door right away. And I said, "Excellent job. Excellent." He goes, "I just want you to know, though, I'm still scarred by what you said." I didn't say anything. He said, "You told me to do it again." He used your mom voice.
That guy's going to have some mental issues for the next couple of years. He's going to just wake up screaming.
Again.
Again.
Like the movie Miracle.
So
again.
one last.
No, I mean, Lord, you notice that if it's a good landing, the pilots will be the first ones out of the flight deck, standing there and did that. And if it's a sort of a bit of a rough landing, it's like, no, really important debriefing.
We got to
like weather and
push over
charts
buttons
NOTAMs
and stuff.
You go out there and hold your tip thing out. Just what do you want to tip me now?
Your
10%, 20%?
QR code.
So
No, but it
our
happens. It
friend,
happens to everybody.
our friend Luke sent me a thing this morning. There's a passenger non-rev stranded in Sydney. Did you see that, Lara?
I saw it. It was so funny.
Will you read
Monique,
that, and then we're gonna have us pros tell what we think they should.
do you want to have Monique read it?
No, I'm not a good reader.
Yeah, you're the better
Really?
reader. You have the good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we
Monique
go.
and I are lowest, like a third grade level.
Hello, I'm stuck in Sydney. Due to medical reasons, I typically only can fly Polaris, Polaris, since I'm trying to head back to LAX, which is over 13 hours. I've had no problem non-revving in Polaris to get here, but the last 3 days, I've had no luck getting home. Unfortunately, it is literally impossible for me to sit in economy or premium for flights longer than 8 to 10 hours. So I'm trying to figure out how to get home. Melbourne's flight looks a little bit better, but I'd love some advice from seasoned travelers and employees. The pass I'm using is for family members, but it has very good seniority. Because Polaris, that particular airline runs by seniority, not by time to check in.
But-
like ours.
So it's United, and they're
A guest pass, right?
She's.
Like a buddy pass.
It sounds like it, but she
It's a
said
buddy
I will.
pass.
I can't fly in the back. I have to fly in business class.
I have due to medical reasons.
She should probably look at using miles.
Or why would you go? Why would you go on a trip that's that far, knowing that he sent it to me not as a help this person out, but just like this person's ridiculous. So I thought
Guillermo?
it was funny.
I would love to know what her medical reason is that she can only fly up front. I mean, if I need to find out what that is. Get a note from my doctor.
I needed an
But yeah.
emotional
Lay
support
down.
bed in business
Well, did
class.
she just get a BBL or something, and so she has to lay down?
Then if you had surgery, why would you go? I mean, it was so.
Well, we
Especially
see him
in
coming back
non-rev.
from Miami all the time.
Welcome to Miami.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, but-
ridiculous. So
But it is a bit of a weird story. I mean, why would you non-rev with that sort of semi-ridiculous request? The
restricted,
whole thing
yeah.
with non-rev is that be happy you got on the plane.
Exactly.
You got life flat. Great. Bonus score. I got one. Or if you're Tyler, you're just gonna look at every single option until you get life flat.
Yes.
Which is
Exactly.
also a strategy. I mean, it's a cool strategy, but yeah, especially on a buddy pass, why would you do that?
yeah,
Well,
I
also
don't- it
the
was-
person that
I
gave
thought
it,
it was
why would they not have been like, yeah, you're going to be all the way down at the bottom. Your chances of getting that are almost slim to none. I almost put some responsibility on the worker, or like benefits they are.
Yeah, it could be as well, but I mean, if it's a buddy pass, that means she also can non-rev only on that airline, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
yeah.
So
Kind of like you
then
said
you're-
before, we're seeing one side of that story, and we don't know all that stuff. But I mean, maybe the way she explained it, she is like it's family, but she's married. But still, even then, like, why would you fly somewhere if you felt like the only way I can fly is in business class as a non-rev, where you're not ever have it for sure? Like, why would you even go?
Well, yeah, but
Exactly.
if you can only fly business class, then sorry, just don't non-rev.
That's it.
I
Yeah,
thought it was-
but
And-
that's
Yeah,
And Melbourne
Even
is
like-
nowhere near Sydney.
no. I once made a really bad mistake. I came from Amsterdam and I was going to visit a friend in Sydney. She used to be a flight attendant for my company and then quit just before she was going to go from regional to mainline. She just suddenly like, nah, I've had enough. I'm going to go to Sydney. I'm going to go work in a hostel a year and I'll see what I do with the rest of my life. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll come and visit you. So I flew to Hong Kong on Rev and then was trying to get to Sydney and all the flights were full and I couldn't get anywhere. I was like, and I promised her I would be there on a certain date. And I'm standing there at the cafe has a really good non-rev check-in area at Hong Kong airport where you can actually, then they just give you pluses and minuses, how many seats are open on every flight. I was just looking at the borders like Sydney, yeah, and that full, and Perth. Perth is in Australia. How far can it be? Turns out it is quite a way.
on the map it seems so close though.
Exactly. The map it was. And they got the in-flight entertainment. And there was a small screen. I was in economy. So it looked really small.
So
It
if
got
people
there
still
eventually.
use our code that we have, do our listeners still get 10% off the eSIM?
Yes.
Awesome. So if you haven't done that, get our code so you can get that 10% off. Check out the new Staff Traveler update. Hopefully, when this comes out, it'll be ready to go. If not, watch for our social media and we'll have it out, but it should be. And I think everyone's going to like it. It's going to be fun with the priority stuff. So this is going to come out right at the end of the month. So next month, everyone's going to be loaded up with too. So make sure you do the update, because I'm not sure if you have Android or Apple or what, but do the update so you can get the new, because if you're still using the old one, is the old one not even going to work once you flip it over?
Oh, it'll work. No, it's the back end stuff always the same. It's just the app that's changing. And if you're always in a pinch and your mobile phone is down or anything, you can always still use the web app as well, which is at stafftraveler.app, which some people prefer even, just if they want to use it on their desktop. Yeah.
Sometimes that's for when I'm looking up loads and then using that on two screens, like that's sometimes very helpful. So
it is.
And the priority is on the app, could be on the computer too, or only on?
Not yet. No, only on app. That
Okay.
web will transition at one point.
Okay, that's fine.
It's on our to-do list. And before anybody asks, this is the number one requested feature, which we haven't implemented yet, but we will do. There will be a dark mode in the app. Finally.
That's the number one?
Coming this year. Yeah, no, literally, Lara, I'm not joking. The amount of people who just request, I want a dark mode. Okay. It's coming. I promise.
That's awesome.
Yeah, some people like it dark.
Yeah, people are going to be excited. Well, thanks for joining us, staying up late so we could catch you.
It's fun. I'm sorry we didn't get Mexican food with you this time.
No, well, next time.
That was fun.
Yeah, when you do another along LA, let us know. We'll come over. And
I will.
Proud bird with you.
Yeah, we'll come over to you.
Yeah, well, I always got long LAs and also San Diego as well. Just got added to the route network.
Oh,
so
nice.
that's nice. So we'll find a day somewhere.
Air France did well, so you guys can start coming to Phoenix too.
Yeah.
If they're doing well, then the business is going there. So yeah, then sadly, I don't think we'll be going there.
Yeah.
Well, dang.
I know in the summer, everyone here wants to leave and go to Europe. So at least seasonally, it makes sense to get more flights. So.
Well, Laura, I'll meet up with you in Buenos Aires next time.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I'll pop down there.
Thanks, Guillermo.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
If you want to get a hold of us, you can find us at the Non-Rev Lounge podcast at gmail.com. Everyone stay safe.
Bye.
This has been Non-Rev Lounge. This episode was sponsored by Staff Traveler, which is the #1 app to get your non-rev loads. It is used by over 800,000 people from all airlines the world over and built to make your non-rev trips easy and stress-free. Sign up now for free at stafftraveler.com/non-rev lounge.
All right. Perfect.
Thank you, Guillermo.
You guys are welcome. That's always fun.
Yeah, it is fun.
Sorry I go off